All right, what's up? Hope you guys had a good first day back yesterday, and just gonna help you do a few problems here at the beginning and then let you just do the homework. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask people for help. You can even ask me for help if you want. And we could set up a Zoom time or whatever during this geometry period, and you can ask me questions. I'll help you out. So if after watching this it doesn't make sense or you need help with one as you go along through the homework, don't be afraid to ask. All right, so let's just get right into it. I'm gonna go to the iPad. All right, so I just made a list of things that you will need to know for today's homework. The first four things we already had in our notes from yesterday. Those are review. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the height times the two bases added together. And the area of a rhombus is 1/2 each diagonal. Then the new things that we went over yesterday were the area of a polygon is 1/2 the perimeter times the apothem. And then what we did not do yesterday in the time we were together is the area of a circle, which you probably have heard before. It's pi r squared. Okay, so make sure you kind of distinguish between circumference, which was pi times the diameter. That's different than the area of a circle. The area of a circle is found by taking the radius and squaring it and then multiplying it by pi. Here's a couple other things that you need to know for today, just as review. You'll need to know how to find the lengths of a 45-90 right triangle. So if there on the left you see if one of the side lengths is x, obviously the other side is x, the other leg is x, and then the side opposite the hypotenuse is x times the square root of 2. If you have a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, the side opposite the 30-degree angle, we could call that just x, and then the side opposite the 60-degree angle would be x times the square root of 3, and then the hypotenuse would be 2 times whatever the length opposite the 30-degree angle was. And then sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. You saw yesterday how we're going to use those things to find side lengths today. So let's just get started with some that you will need to know how to do. Let's just start with number 6. So page 653, number 6. Here we go. It says, find the area of each polygon round to the nearest tenth. So let's find the area of a regular octagon, which has 8 sides and has a perimeter of 72. So the perimeter is 72 and it has 8 sides. So each side is going to have a length of 72 divided by 8 is 9, of course. Okay, so if I drew an octagon over here, and it's regular, all the sides are the same, each of these lengths is 9. And I need to find the area. So I've got to figure out what the perimeter is, which they told me is 72, and I need to know what the apothem is. So I'm going to try to find that right now. If I draw it in, and I make a little triangle like that, I would say, okay, one of this side is 4.5, because the whole thing was 9, and that apothem bisected that segment, so half of 9 is 4.5. I would know that the measure of this whole angle right there, of that big triangle, this one, would be 360 divided by 8. So if I do that, I get 45 for the whole angle. So I know that the angle that I'm looking for right in there is 22.5. This is a lot like the one we did yesterday. All right, so now I can just take the tangent of that angle to find my apothem there, the length of that apothem. So let's do tangent. Tangent of 22.5 should be equal to 4.5 over my apothem. So that basically is the same as that. All right, so we're going to put that into our calculators. We'll say, let's figure out what the tangent is first. 22.5. Tangent is 0.414 approximately. So I can do that on my calculator and get 4.5 divided by 0.414, 10.87 essentially. So if I did that right, I got 10.87. So the perimeter, which is 72, if I take half of that, I get 36. If I multiply that by my apothem length, I should get what the area is of this thing, and indeed it is correct. I get if I do that calculation on my computer or on my calculator, I will end up with okay. So that's how we are going to find the area of that one. Now, you're not going to do number 6. You're going to do questions 7 through 25 odd. So that's the assignment. And so I will help you with number 7, the first one in your problem set. It says, find the area of a square with a perimeter of 84 times the square root of 2 meters. And the other one actually should have been in inches squared, but that's okay. All right, let's find the area of a square that has a perimeter of 84 root 2. Okay, so if I'm going to find the area of this square, I would need to know the base and the height. Well, I kind of do know that. If I take 84 root 2 and I divide it by 4, that would give me the length of both of those things, the base and the height, because it's a square. They're all the same. So let's just do that. Let's do that on my calculator, and I don't even need to for right now. I can just say that that is 84 divided by 4, which is 12. And so let's write that in there. Why it's coming up? Sorry, it's 21. Okay. So 84 times the square root of 2 divided by 4 is 21 root 2. So each side has a length of 21 root 2. Well, let's just figure that out and multiply it by 2 or times it by itself. So I get square root of 2, which is times 21. And if I square that, I'm going to get 882. So I take this sorry, Lane's driving me crazy. And if I do that on my calculator, I will get 882 meters squared. Okay, we're going to stop right there for 1 second. And okay, coming back to it. Let's get back on here. Okay, so that was number 7. So you have to do that with a hexagon. A hexagon has 6 sides, that's number 9. So do that with a hexagon, and then you're gonna have to find it gives you in number 9 the length of the apothem, so you're gonna have to find the perimeter based on that. Use the information that we showed you up here, which was, right, use all of this information to figure out what the perimeter is of that hexagon. Let's do it. I'll just kind of draw it in here. Okay, that's a hexagon, it's regular, trust me. All right, and it says it has an apothem length of 24. So that length is 24. Make a triangle like this. Find out what this length is. Once I know that the whole thing would just be twice that. And then you'll be able to find the perimeter because you just take that number and multiply it by 6. That's number 9. Okay, let's do number 12. This isn't in the homework, obviously, but this is just for practice because you have a lot like this where you're having to find the area of the shaded region. All right, so 12 says I have a circle and I have a square inside that circle, okay? And it says find the area of each shaded region, assume that all polygons that appear to be regular are regular, round to the nearest tenth. And it showed me that that length is 10. The circumference, or sorry, the radius of that circle is 10. So if I'm trying to find this area of the shaded region, what am I going to do to find that? Well, if I found the area of the whole circle and then took out the area of the square, I would be left with just the shaded region. So we're going to do that. We're going to find the area of the circle, then we're going to find the area of the square, and then we're going to subtract the area of the square from the area of the circle, and that will leave me with the area of the shaded part, the part that I want. So let's find the area of the circle. That'll be the easy thing. Go back to the top where we said the area of a circle is pi r squared. The radius is 10. So 10 squared is 100. So if I wanted to write it out, I would get about 314. If I wanted to go to a few extra decimal places, I could do that. I could say it was 0.15. Well, I'll round it, 16. It'd be 314.16. Okay, that's the area of the circle. Now let's find the area of the square. To do that, I need to find the area or the length of one of these sides. Do it this color. I need to find the length of the base and the height, which it's the same in a square, obviously. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to need to draw a triangle in here like this, and then find the length of that side and know that that's half of the length of the whole thing, and then I'll have the length measurements I need to find the area of the square. So this angle right here is obviously 45, which makes this one 45, which makes that a 45-45 right triangle. All right, so how do I find x? Well, I could do it different ways. I could use sine, cosine, tangent. I could use the fact that, where was it up here? That I could use this information and find the length of the side that way. I was given that hypotenuse was 10, so I could do it that way, but let's do it the hard way. Let's find the sine, cosine, or tangent. So if I'm looking at this and I say, okay, I need to find let's do the sine of 45 degrees, which is opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite side would be x, the hypotenuse would be 10. So I'm going to get 10 times the sine of 45 degrees equals x. Okay, so let's do that on the calculator. Let's say 45 sine times that by 10, and I get 7.07 basically equals x. So that told me that the distance from there to, you can't see that, let's put that in there, different color. From there to there is 7.07. but I need the distance of the whole side of the square, so it's just twice that. So if I take 2 times 7.07, that should give me the length of one of the sides of the square, which happens to be 14.14 approximately. Okay, now if I'm trying to find the area, I will just multiply that by itself, and I should get something around 9.7 probably. Something like that, close to that at least. Okay, so now I have the area of the circle, the area of the square. So let's take those two and subtract them out. And I'll be left with the area of the shaded region. So 314.16 minus 199.97 gives me 114.19, which is 0.2. And lucky us, that is the correct answer. Okay, so 13, the one you actually have to do. I'm not going to do it for you, but I'll help you set it up because it's a little bit different, but same idea. Has a rectangle, and then it has a circle over here. And it doesn't tell me anything about that circle, but it tells me that the lengths of the rectangle are 10 and 5. So again, I'm trying to find the area of this shaded thing. Okay, so just think big picture. I just need to find the area of the whole rectangle, which is base times the height. So that's 50. 10 times 5 is 50. So the area of the rectangle is 50. Now, what's the area of the circle? Well, how do I know? It didn't give me the radius. Well, it did, kind of. If I drew a line from there to there, that's 5. It's the same height as the rectangle. So the radius would be half of that. So 2.5. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. So the area of this circle would be pi 2.5 squared. So 2.5 times 2.5 is 6.25 times pi is 19.63. Okay, so let's take our rectangle, area of that, and subtract out the part that I don't want. And I should be left with the area of the shaded part. And round to the nearest tenth. So that should be 30.4 units squared. And that is the correct answer. Oh, wait, I wasn't going to do that one for you. Oops, sorry. There you go. So you're going to do the rest of them like that. All right. I think you should be good from there. Again, if you have questions, hit me up. I'll be waiting anxiously for you to ask me a question. All right. If not, we'll talk to you on Friday. We'll do a quiz on Friday, tomorrow, which in essence will just be a worksheet where you can work together and use your notes. So don't worry too much about that. Do the homework tonight. Again, the assignment for tonight, 7 through 25 odd. 7 through 25 odd. See you later.